Hey everyone, welcome to my shop. In this video, I will be building my dead sexy Roubo Workbench. Alright, welcome back. Got all the boring stuff out of the way on the first video, got the top glued up, and the tenons on the legs cut out. There's one part that we didn't get to on the top, and that is the Houndstooth Dovetails. There's kind of two schools on this. One's hand cut, one is cut on the bandsaw, and I wanted to try both. Bandsaw definitely did not leave as clean of corners or edges, but it was squarer overall, took less finessing to get fit. The end, I think I really enjoy the look and sharpness of the hand cut ones better. So what does this fancy board do? On one side, it just looks really good. On the other side, it counteracts the force exerted by the tail vise. Fun place to show off. Again, I built this as kind of a place to be inspired, try out some things. So yeah, take that as you will. Getting the mortise chopped out for the tail vise and for the dead man. And then we've got the end caps to put together. Chose walnut again, just a little more of that contrast. I dig that. This Wood Owl 3/4 inch bit was an absolute lifesaver. I've never had something that bored as clean of a hole as quickly as that does. No exit wounds for dog holes. And yeah, I just tortured that thing. It was awesome. I'll put a link down below. So my drill press, the table had broken off. I had it cast welded back together, but it was still a little droopy and the chuck kept falling off. That would have been something that was nice to have had. An actual floor standing and something reliable that would drill square. As you can see, on getting this depth, I definitely had some problems. Just not used to it, using template bits and whatnot to get down to where I needed to be. So this mortise house is at the top, helps keep it flat. Breadboard ends, a little bit oversized to allow for movement, and then the first 2 inches only are glued. The other one is held up to the bench top by a 3/8/16 threaded cap screw that's just tapped into the wood. A little trimming on that tenon. Just see how massive everything is. I think at the end of this, 101 inches long by 4 inches thick by 21 inches wide. I think at the end this thing ends up weighing something around 500 pounds with hardware. So the end cap's on, get the houndstooths transferred, hound's teeth, tooths, whatever. One thing I forgot to do, and I would definitely do next time, is take a little rabbet out of the backside of those so it gives a good solid reference to bump up against on that baseline up against the end cap. And then double check your depth I missed my depth line going into the inboards, and we'll see later why that was such a huge pain in the ass. A few tricks here. Chalk paint on walnut is the bee's knees. Do it. You'll love it. They're all half blind, so there's my bad axe here. Getting them chopped out. I remember seeing a fine woodworking video on cutting out houndstooths when I first started. I was like, oh man, I'm never gonna be able to do that. That looks so just like precise. Actually, I think it ended up being easier on this scale. Just so much meat to work with, and really came out of there easily and cleanly. I was pretty excited to see this come together. I should have spent a little more time on the tail side, on the hand cut ones. They were a little tight, and I ended up splitting this on one of the test fits. It's not a huge deal. You can see there on the lower right where it's just asking for it. I kind of overcut just a little bit and made a little bit of a weak place there. It ended up clamping tight, but it'll be something that's always, probably visible to me at least. Fishtail chisel is also something I could never live without. Getting into those corners is so much easier. Dovetail square. Took a little chamfer off the back side just to help everything slide together. Probably would have used something a little more lubricative. Like hot hide glue to put these together next time. I used yellow glue, and it definitely did not make life any easier with those swelling fibers. All right, getting those hand tapped. 3/8/16 threaded cap screw. And then I just took the instructions and scaled them, printed them out, and cut out the little place where the hand wheel comes through for the tail vise. And those holes right there are a little bit oversized to allow for some movement. And in this thickness, I really didn't have anything that wide. So what I ended up doing a lot, especially getting the legs through the top, is this kind of stepping it out with a rabbet bit and changing the size of the bearings, and then coming back and flushing it to even it out on the other side, kind of bringing everything to the center. I chose to do houndstooth teeth on both sides. It's not necessary, but definitely adds to the sexy factor for me anyways. Time to get those trunks through the top. So this is one of those things I would have done differently. I probably would have left that front board off, sized the front tenon on the legs to be the same thickness as that front piece. It just would have taken some of the fitment out. You could cut that front board down while it's still off. It would also make cutting hound's teeth a lot less awkward. A little pencil to mark out the tight places. Have my wife counterweight it. Got one kind of snug fit, and then got the bulk out of the rest of them, and then I went through and fine-tuned each one. Using 3/4 inch top and bottom bearing 3-inch long router bits to kind of in drilling out the majority, hand cutting those dovetail front tenons mortises, standing on a stool because it was so high up. I tried everything, didn't waste out. Did it again. I think a firmer chisel would be really handy. I loved using these blocks to kind of find my way to square. And last but not least is stretchers. Get everything in place, mark out baselines, cut out the tenons. Bulk on the bandsaw, and then come back through and chop out baselines, clean up the cheeks. A lot of the commercially available ones are workbenches have hardware. I chose to drawboard these. Just having that glue and that tension, I'll never have to worry about anything getting loose. Another one of those where there's a couple schools of thought. Marking out where these came through and cutting the mortises into the legs. And then after those are cut in, there's one more mortise we need to cut out, and that's for the leg vise. Stretchers all the way through to where there's light, and then just miter the corners. They don't have to touch and they don't have to glue together, just maximizing glue surface area. Drop boring, ended up clamping. They acted more like pens than drawbores, but they worked. And I think that's where we'll leave video 2. I hope you join me for video 3. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.